Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban lifestyle and jungle survival. Today we're going to have a look at a survival kit I picked up on Shopee, an online marketplace. And this is made in Malaysia. It is basically a pre-packaged commercial survival kit designed for one person. Now it's pretty inexpensive. If I were to do a conversion, it's probably about $650 US, excluding postage. It's not that heavy, but everything is supposed to be sealed in this pack, and all you need to do is open it and get all the items you need. Now it is by a company called Greencamp Outdoor Malaysia, and this is made in Malaysia. Now the only thing I like to say is this should be Advanced Survival Kit with the D. So hopefully they can change that if they watch this review. So you can see here, stay warm, stay hydrated, signal rescuers, and find shelters to survive. And more fine print, basically telling you what the kit is about. Let's go to this side over here. So there are 6 elements. I guess that's what this survival pack would consist of. Fire starter and candle, navigation and signal, water purification, basic medical, fishing kits, tools, and repairs. So it seems like quite a bit in this small kit. And we do have these survival rules: 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. 3 minutes without air is quite a long time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do kind of an unboxing or opening, and we're going to see what's inside and see if the items that they have kind of put inside really make sense. And really this is an exercise to see if there are any ideas, if there's anything that we can learn. This is not something that I may carry on myself when I do go out hiking, camping, or bushcrafting, as I have my own gear. But I think it's always useful to see what others are doing and see if there's something we can learn. And Malaysia has a great outdoor culture, lots of survival experts and people who are always out in the jungles. So let's open this up and see what's inside. So there's supposed to be 55 items inside, and it comes with this tear tab, which will open up, and it's got this resealable ziplock feature, which is a great thing. And I've seen other survival kits as well with kind of a similar packaging. Now this material is a foil, so I guess you could use it as a container as well to collect and store water if you need. So that's nice as well. So let's pour out everything. That's, yep, quite a few items. And let's just go through what we have here. So we have a lighter. So this is a regular flint strike wheel type lighter. Always good to have. Some duct tape. So this 1-inch blue duct tape. Very useful all around, and can be used as a fire extender or for repairs or even to cover wounds in an emergency. Interesting, they put a pen. So this is a ballpoint pen, and I assume they must have some sort of paper or something, and they included a few, well, let's see what we have here. 2 sheets of paper, or is it 1 sheet? Let's find out. Oh, this is, oh, it's kind of like a post pad, I guess. A post pad, a few sheets of a post pad, and it's folded up, and I guess that's for you to write information. Nice bright color as well, I guess, if you want to leave a trail, although if it rains won't really help, but okay, so that works. You get some paper and a pen. Oh, they do have some cards over here. So these are information cards. So this is really pointers on what to do in a survival situation. So move to a safe area if in immediate danger, treat life-threatening wounds and injuries, stop, stay calm, take inventory of supplies, find shelter and warm shade if needed, stay stationary for searches, plan and place signals to assist rescuers, do nothing to cause an injury, and plan for the need for food and water. All great tips, so can't argue with that. And then they've got a whole basic survival fishing tips and tricks. I won't get into that, but that's again nice to have. In this card they've got a whole bunch of knots which can be useful. Some more complicated than others. I mean, if you are going out, it's always good for you to learn all the basic knots that you might need, and you really only need 5 to 10 basic knots to get through most situations. So I feel in this case they could have, I think, more basic knots which are more useful. these seem a bit more complicated than needed, like the Albright knot, for example. So that's, I guess, my only piece of feedback. But it's a nice little card and handy, and I think specifically for fishing, they've got a whole bunch of line to hook and lure knots. Now, I don't fish, so if you do fish, and look at this, tell me if these are practical knots to put in a card like that, or should there be simpler knots or other knots that are not included here? Do let me know in the comments below. But it's good that they have a kit like that, or some cards like that. I think it'll be useful if there's some kind of a card that lists all the items inside, but they don't seem to have that. Okay, we have some cable ties. All right, always useful. So zip ties, that's pretty good. A bit thin though, I would say. We've got some aluminum foil. Now, aluminum foil is generally used as a container, one of the 5 C's of survival, to collect water. So I guess this is quite a small piece. I would recommend a piece of at least 18 inches by 12 inches to get enough material for you to form a container, like a small bowl or cup. Now, for this particular one, if you're to try to fold it into a container, you can get a really small cup. And the idea is to boil water in it, and if it's such a small cup, it's going to be a bit impractical. And this is also very thin aluminum foil. You really want the thick, heavy-duty foil if you're going to pack that in your survival kit. So I would say good to have in terms of concept, but it needs to be bigger and needs to be of better quality, heavy-duty foil. We've got a knife. Urban knife guy always needs to look at the knife. This is just kind of a arts and craft, and they call it a pencil knife. So it's a razor. Definitely a carbon steel, so it will rust. Sharp enough to, I would say, definitely cut simple items. It's hard to process wood, especially if, let's say, you're trying to feather stick or do carvings or cut through branches. That's really not gonna help with that. Maybe cut through some very small branches, cut through paracord and things like that. Generally, if I do bring out knives for a survival kit, I do want something more substantial. Something with a thicker blade, so not a razor. I like something at least maybe 2 mm to 3 mm thick, that even if it's small, a thicker knife that's small is better than, I think, a larger knife that is really thin like that, because it's going to be hard to use and hard to be effective. We've got some thread, and this looks like regular cotton thread. Okay, so I guess this is more for repairs and such, and I guess maybe you could use it as some kind of a tinder kindling, but it's gonna burn too fast to really be useful. More zip ties. Let's get to this. Survival whistle. All right. Yes, always good and important to have. I've got one of these LED lights, and I actually have this exact light as well for my survival kits. So it's good because you can depress it, it's pretty bright, and you can actually keep it on by just flicking that tab as well. So I guess, to me, yes, a survival kit should definitely have some form of a light source. I've got a collection of various safety pins. I would prefer, I think, larger pins than this. I'm not sure if this can be very effective, so I would prefer larger pins than these small pins over here if you're going to have an assortment especially. We've got some wire. Now, I'm not sure what gauge this is. I'm not sure how strong this is, whether this is steel or copper. I can't tell. Can't tell how strong this is. My guess is this is for maybe snares or repairs, but again, I don't know how strong it is. I'm not sure how effective that'll be for traps, and I'm not sure what length. Let's see roughly how long they gave. Is it enough to even make a good loop? Yeah, I guess you could make a loop for a snare. And again, we don't know exactly what the strength is, but again, good in concept to have as well, especially if you do know how to hunt and set traps. We've got some buttons. I guess this is kind of like a repair kit. Not so sure how important this is in a survival situation, but I guess more of a convenience item and doesn't take up much space. This is a signal mirror, and I would assume that there's actually a film on it. Let's see if I can find that end. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time trying to peel this open, but I'm going to assume that this is a piece of acrylic mirror. This is 1mm acrylic, and there's actually a film cover over it, so you actually have to peel it out. Then you really get the shiny surface. So I think that's pretty good. A bit small, but I think it would do again in a survival situation. And nice thickness as well. Of course, material like this can crack, but I think it's small enough to be protected. Got a compass. This is a button compass. Always useful. Let's see if it's kind of working. Yep, I think it's decent. All these generally are made in China, and I would say that 96 to 98% of them do work well. Let's see what we have over here. Okay, so we have we have the fishing hooks, we have the weights, and we've got fishing line. So all that in one package, and I guess you can fashion a fishing rod out of this and catch fish if you need. This looks like a first aid pack. Let's see what inside. I do see some puree tabs, water purification tabs right here at the top. So you get 2 of them, one for 1 liter of water each. We've got some band-aids. So these really just a boo-boo kit. We have 2 alcohol swabs, good to have. Again, they can be used for tinder as well. And we've got 2 filters. So this is great. So these are coffee filters, and this is good to actually filter water as your first level of filtration if you are collecting water. And then of course you can remove all the larger sediments and then use the water purification tabs. And you do need a container, I guess. That's where this might come in. This would definitely not be 1 liter. It would be a good idea if you buy a kit like that to kind of fill this up and to figure out how much water's inside exactly. My guess, this will be about 350 ml, which means that if you do use it for water purification, you need to break up those tablets. And we have kind of a dental floss device over here, and a pick. Again, more I think of a convenience item than a survival item. And finally, what do we have over here? This looks like the fire making kit. So far, I think the kit has been pretty decent. I mean, we can debate about the quality of the various items, but I think it's pretty well thought out with a tea light candle. We have some, looks like wood. I'm not sure if this is fat wood. Let's have a look. Oh, maybe. Let's give it a smell. No, I mean, it doesn't even feel like pine. It's more like poplar. So I don't think this is fat wood. And I guess this would be, too expensive to put fat wood in this particular kit at this price, I think. But this is definitely, my guess, for fire starting as kindling to get your fire going. What else do we have over here? This is... Okay, what is this? Okay, so this looks like some gauze which has been treated in some way, and I believe this is kindling. So it's probably wax. So this is wax gauze or some kind. So yeah, that would work as kindling, and that's a pretty good idea because it takes up quite little space. So I do like that idea. And finally, over here we have some matches and striking surface. If you put your kit together, your own kit together, I think you definitely want to put high quality, windproof, waterproof, stormproof matches rather than these really cheap matches. So there you have it, all the items in this advanced survival kit from Greencamp Outdoor Malaysia. What do you think of the contents inside? Personally, I think for the price, we're talking about, as I said, $6 to $650 US. I think you do get a good collection of items. I'm not sure it's 55, I didn't really count them. But I think the items are well thought out. I mean, the people who put this together obviously knew and thought about what to put together. I guess it's the materials and the quality that's questionable. If you're putting together a kit like this yourself, definitely go with better materials, more heavy-duty materials. Example with the zip ties, go with something stronger, or if you want, put in various sizes if you want. And the same goes with matches, which I mentioned before, and other items inside as well. But overall, the whole package was pretty light, doesn't take up much space, and it's definitely better to have this than nothing at all. And if I was to get this as a gift, well, I'll probably put together my own kit to give someone. But I guess in a pinch, if someone wants to learn about survival, especially if it's a kid going into scouting, I think this is inexpensive and, you know, something good for them to open up, explore the different items, and to understand the purpose and the uses. And if they're to put together their own kit, they can get lots of ideas from it. But let me know what you think about this kit, or if you know of any other survival kits which you think is even better. But is it better at that price? Do let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.